Preview pod, second preview pod. How good are the preview pods, guys? It's too late for me to be doing this. I just worked 11 hours. I should be sleeping, but I'm not. I'm doing this preview pod for you guys, and I'm all about it. Let's not mess around. First thing I wanted to start off today, how good's Tassie getting a team? I love that. I know this isn't North Melbourne related, but we're going to chat about it for a sec. I'm Tasmanian. I grew up in Tasmania. I've lived in Victoria since 2015 now. But, I love that Tassie got a team. That's a mad footy state. They don't play any other sport down there. If you even mentioned a different sport, you'd get bashed. And rightly so, to be fair. It's great. I love that Tassie got a team. I love all the speculation on the names. There's a few Tassie meme pages I'm a part of from back in my Launceston days when I lived down there. And the Turbo Chooks is one. If you don't know what a Turbo Chook is, you got to look that up. The apples, the Tassie apples, that's pretty fierce. I don't know. What else could you call them? Do we call them the Devils? What do you guys think? Let me know. But anyway, I just thought I'd acknowledge that Tasmania is a team. That's cool. And I'm also glad that they're not here until 2028 to steal all of North's good draft picks, because then that's premiership window time, guys. So at least we can load up on picks, and hopefully Port Adelaide have lost all of theirs and, Tassie takes all their picks. That'd be great. Anyway, big game. Sunday, blockbuster time, 4:40 on a Sunday. Where would you rather be than Marvel Stadium to watch North Melbourne take on the Saints? The up and about Saints, to be fair. Them and the Bombers, I guess, are the two teams that everyone's like, yeah, they're actually all right, and I don't know why, but they are. Good on them. One of my best mates is a Saints fan, and he's a bit more up and about this year. I am jealous because I thought maybe I would be a bit more up and about. And obviously the first month of footy gave that to us, but here we are. Thank you to everyone who tuned into Monday's podcast as well. We sort of did a bit of a deep dive, or a little bit of constructive sort of conversation around where we're at right now. We're keeping it level-headed here at the Further North podcast. If you haven't gone to listen to it, please go back, listen. If you are freaking out about North Melbourne, I think it might help you calm down. But yeah, I thought that was a decent insight by me. Well done. I'm the only one here at the moment to be able to prop myself up, so I may as well give myself that. Saints. Now, how many goals do you guys think Mason Wood is going to kick against us? What's his career high? I've got no idea. But whatever his career high is, I reckon he's setting a new career high. That's written in the stars, isn't it? Obviously, against the Ds, a lot of injuries. There's going to be a lot of outs this week, which I think is a good thing. Clarko in his press conference after the Ds game obviously said, if we're going to be losing by 90 points, we may as well play the kids, which I think we've all, especially in the last 2 or 3 weeks, really been calling for a lot more youth to be in this team. And yeah, when we thought about it, and we did talk about this on the Monday podcast, so once again, go back and listen to that because I don't want to, rehash over things. But the Howes, the Cores, the Turners, these sort of players, and look, we have been harsh on a lot of those guys, and put that criticism aside for a second. It's even about, yes, they're not playing at a high enough level to be in this team. They're not on the timeline, and, I don't see the point when we are maybe not quite as good as we thought in the first month of footy. We may as well be blooding the youth. So I want to see some changes this week. I called for changes last week. And after that performance, I think, and Clarkson's press conference, I think we may get more changes. Now, I'm not going to do specific ins and outs. I'm just going to name the team that I would like to see on the weekend. Obviously, Combin, Powell, CCJ are not going to be there. They're all guys I would have in my best 22, but obviously they're not available. So, obviously with the contention of these mid-tier players like your Cores, your Turners, your Howes, Clarko did say that he doesn't want to just play all the kids, and I sort of understand that. I was always, wanting like an Aaron Hall or someone in the team as well earlier in the season. I'm not going to pretend I didn't think that. But I think you can play a lot of kids and have the experience. I don't think any of us want Goldie, Zeebs, Cunnington, and I'd say Liam Shields as well. Those four can play every week, but there's your leadership. The rest need to be kids. So this is the team I would like to see play against the Saints. So the fullback line, I'd like to see Luke McDonald, always solid, does his job. A couple of people are calling for him to be dropped. That's mayhem. Think before you say those things, guys. Come on. Lukey Mack does not deserve to be dropped. Ben Mackay, he played better last week. And Miller Bergman needs to be back in this team. He played fantastic the first few weeks. Maybe not the first game. I thought he was a bit average. I think I called for him to be dropped, but I screwed my head back on and realised that, yeah, he came back and played pretty well. So McDonald, Mackay, Bergman backline, half backline, Zeebs holding his spot, great leadership. You need the vets in there. Griffin Logue, maybe he hasn't had the best last couple of weeks. I'm a Griffin Logue fan. We know this. Who else we got to put there? Callan Dawson, maybe. Nah, doesn't make it in the team for me. So Griffin Logue and then Sheasel on that half back line. I mean, Shees is our best player, which is terrifying. The centre. Bailey Scott, Luke Davies-Uniacke, and Darcy Tucker, I think. He is in that core Turner Howe bracket of age, but I think he's a much better quality player. I would love to see Wardlaw in this team, but obviously he's not going to make it just yet. It does seem like he's probably further away. I think he got a knock on the weekend, like a knee bruise or something. So he's not going to be in quite yet. Half forward line, I'd like to see Curtis Taylor. A lot of criticism for Curtis Taylor. I know, I do understand some of it, but I think a lot of it's a little bit harsh as well. He's been fine. He's been whelming, right? I don't think he's been underwhelming. I don't think he's been overwhelming. He's just kind of whelming around the field. So, look, he stays for me. Too much talent or too much potential to be a solid player. So, him, Big Chom, I hate that he's out. He was really starting to come on, wasn't he? Zerha's got to play that half-forward role now. CCJ being out as well, which is another guy I'd have in the forward line. Zerha's got to play in there now, less minutes in the forward line, unless they want to do a Larky surrounded by a bunch of short dudes. I was listening to the Hashtag Kangaroos podcast, and shout out to that podcast. Great listen if you want to jump over there and listen to Dean. They were talking about how Richmond used to set up with Jack Riewoldt, and they just sort of had smalls all around Riewoldt in their premiership winning season, 2017, the first one, I think. And they were talking about how that might force the midfielders to lower their eyes and not just bomb it in all the time because they know that there's no forwards in there with any height anyway. So, yeah, you could do something like that to throw Zerha in the middle. But Zerha's got to be in that forward line now like last year. And it's Drury time, guys. The Drury's out. Has anyone ever said that before? How has the club not posted something like that? If you guys see the club post that, it is currently 9:34 p.m. on Wednesday night. If this comes out after that, I want my royalties. Full forward line, Paul Curtis doesn't deserve to be dropped. Should have been dropped for that Gold Coast game or whenever he did get dropped or the week before. Larky, better form from him last week, and Jaden Stevenson obviously is a lock. Goldie, Simpkin, Cunnington in the midfield, and interchange bench. I want Phillips back in, Liam Shields, Jackson Archer. I want Eddie Ford, another different option. Not the best form in the VFL, but Ford and Archer are two of those guys who maybe don't play as well in the VFL, but when they come into the seniors, I think they're a little bit better. And I want Cooper Harvey at the sub. Let's just see him. I'd probably have a Goda in there, but I think his hamstring's still done. Flynn Perez, I mean, look, you may as well give him another run. I'm not the biggest Flynn Perez fan. I'm not sure what he's done to really warrant a spot. I think he's been pretty average most of the times he's played. And Charlie Lazaro is another one that's been playing pretty well in the VFL. So maybe he's a shout in the next couple of weeks, but I'd probably rather see those other guys first. Look, Lazaro probably deserves a chance over Harvey especially, but it's Brent Harvey's son. I mean, we need a bit of spirit out on that field, and you know he'll bring it. Man, I wish Phoenix Spicer was good. Like, he's so exciting, and I just would love a player like that in the forward line. Just one of those quick little nippy forwards who can kick goals. But I mean, he weighs about 50 kilos. So I hope Spicer gets another chance one day, but he's got to earn it, doesn't he? So anyway, that's the team I would like to see. Just to recap, McDonald, Mackay Bergman, Zeeble Logue Sheasel, Scott LDU Tucker, Taylor Zerha Drury, Curtis, Larkey Stevenson, Goldstein, Simkin Cunnington to round off that midfield, and then the interchange, Phillips, Shields, Archer Ford, with Cooper Harvey as the sub. Flynn Perez, could arguably be over Harvey, but we want to see it, don't we? So let me know what you guys think of that team to face the Saints. I don't know. Are we expecting a win here? No, but it's about performances, isn't it? I'm not going to be that guy on a podcast that sits here and go, you never know, we could win, we're a chance. Stop, okay? Let's be realistic here. We're not going to win this game, but I hope they turn up and they try their absolute butts off to try and win this game. It's about the effort. We want to see effort. I think the effort was better against the D's than it was against the Suns, so that's a positive to take, even though it didn't turn out very well. The Saints are coming off a loss. Let me just look up really quickly their last result because I do not remember who they played. But they haven't lost many games this season. Good on the Saints. Port. Yuck. Okay, I don't want to watch that. Look, if Port can beat them, we can absolutely beat them because Port are trash. I don't know. We want the effort. We want the competition. We know our injuries are bad. Every club's whinging about injuries. I talk to a lot of Tigers fans at work because every person on this planet is a Tigers fan. And they're like, injuries. Like, every club's got injuries, This was like the Blues last year. Oh, injuries. That's why we didn't make the finals. Yeah, every club's got injuries, guys. You got to build a squad, and that's what we don't have. And I think that's the problem at the moment is when all these good footballers we've got, the few good footballers we've got, go out of the team, we don't have the quality to bring in. So where can we exploit this team? I think the only thing we can really do, midfield, I'm always backing. If LDU is back in this team this week, which he should be, we can win the midfield battle. We can absolutely win it and give our forwards service. But I don't believe we'll give our forward service until I see them do it. So the midfield is the point where we can beat them. I think our defense has the potential. On paper, I feel like our defense has the potential to match up well against their forward line, but we haven't been proven to do that. I do think our forward line's the weakest point at the moment, but getting a forward and a Zerha back down in there could be something to change up. But I think we could beat them in the midfield battle. I think that's the one play, like clearances. Last week we did equal clearances to the Ds, so that's a good sign. It's just what we do with it after we get the ball. So the midfield battle is the one I think we could win. Where we could fall down, I think the Saints are just in form and the players are confident. They can exploit our backline just as easily as I think on paper we can match up with them. But the backline as a unit doesn't seem to be clicking, even though the individual players I think are decent. Any tall forward can go off any week against North Melbourne. Anyone over like 6'4" could possibly kick 10 against us. So that's the part where I think we can always get exploited. And holding it in our forward line, when we do get entries into our forward line, it just rebounds out so quickly. So the Saints off halfback are pretty decent running the ball forward and up the wing. And that's where Mason Wood this year is sort of excelling, which is hurtful to say. Sort of pushing off that half forward line up to that wing area, creating a contest and taking a mark and getting the ball forward. So, which is, ironically, would be nice to have Mason Wood right now, wouldn't it? I will say, I didn't want to get rid of Mason Wood when we did. I liked Mason Wood. I thought he was all right. I don't know why we got rid of him. But anyway, we can't do anything about that now. Larky's better. We know that. But, geez, after the injuries last week. What am I expecting? My gut's telling me 35-point loss. But I don't really care about the margins. And if we lose at the moment, I want to see the young players play well, and I want to see effort and a game plan coming together. If we can see that and keep it respectable, sort of like against the Blues game on Good Friday, if we walk out of that ground going, we competed, we played better for 3 quarters, we got done by a better team, but we took it up to them, that's all we really want, isn't it? And you can't say that for the last few weeks. So that's all I'm really tipping this week, guys. If you guys think that's negative or a little bit underwhelming, let me know. Once again, I need you guys to help me understand where this team is at. I'm only one man. I've got my opinions, but you guys can change my mind on things. So always send me messages on Further North Pod on Instagram, Further North Podcast on Facebook. Weekly tips. My tipping is atrocious. So let's see if we can do any better this week. All right. Carlton Brisbane. That's not a bad game, actually. A decent game. You'd say Brisbane will win this, but it's at Marvel. Why is it at Marvel? Aren't the Blues home? Isn't the Blues home ground the G? Am I wrong? Anyway, I'll ask you, McLaughlin. I'm going to tip the Lions in this one. Oh, the Blues are favourites. That's wild. I'm 50-50, guys. I'm going for a draw. Richmond, West Coast. Battle for the spoon. I love seeing the Tigers at the bottom. It's brilliant, isn't it? The Tigers will touch the Eagles up. We know that. Let's not even worry about that. Cats and the Crows, GMHBA Stadium. Yeah, the Cats are just going to destroy them, aren't they? I don't think the Crows have been pretty good this year, but the Cats look back, unfortunately. Gold Coast D's. Our last two losses playing against each other. The D's should be belting these guys, but the Suns are only paying $3. Gee, sneaky Suns premiership this year, guys. Do you reckon? Nah, D's in this one. GWS Western Bulldogs. This is the most mid game ever. Like the GWS beat Sydney last week, didn't they? In that battle of the bridge that no one cares about. Getting a win over them is decent. The Bulldogs have sort of been, just right in the middle. So not an underwhelming game, not an overwhelming game. MO, where is that stadium? Manuka Oval, where is that? Is that weird oval in the Northern Territory, or am I getting that? Or is that Canberra? Is it Canberra? Who cares? Bulldogs for me, but not confident about it. Maybe Melbourne bias there. No, you know what? GWS, screw it. Fremantle, Hawthorn. Ugh, yuck. What a gross game. Fremantle, just because it's in Perth. I think that's the only reason why. But the Hawks have sort of played pretty well. I reckon it'll be close. I'd say the Dockers, but I guess the Hawks have taken it up to teams in the last couple of weeks, which sucks. Here we go. Port Adelaide, Essendon. Essendon by 100 points. Horn Francis subbed off at half time. You've got Collingwood, Sydney, which should have been a big game if the Swans didn't, sort of drop the last few weeks. You'd be thinking the Pies would win this one fairly comfortably. And, then it's the 4:40 Sunday game, which we already know. There's my tips. Not confident in any of them. I'm not very good at this, but hey, who cares? My AFL opinion doesn't really matter very much. All right, we'll finish it here, guys. Lastly, the nostalgic player of the week. You would have seen if you follow the Instagram and Facebook page, I put up Matthew Burton in the classic, the iconic orange bounding Roo kit. They need to play in this one again. If there's a heritage round or something, which they should be doing more of in the AFL, you should absolutely be bringing this Guernsey back. We've got a couple of memories from Matthew Burton here, the lumbering big man. Arburk8 on Instagram says, for his last game, me and my old man got to go into the club rooms after the game. Such a nice bloke. That's nice. You'd want to be a nice bloke. Good on him. Of course, he's a good bloke. You love him, don't you? We'll just jump over to Facebook now as well. And we've got Phil Santoro on Facebook. Spider doesn't look a day over 58 here. Yeah, it's really weird, isn't it? Do you guys ever go back to watch the 1970s games and there's a bunch of 25-year-olds that look about 45 years old running around? They're all balding and have wrinkles all over their face. It's wild. Why do we all look so young these days? But look at the photo I posted because he's right. He doesn't look a day over 58. And Glyn Lavender says, there was that time he snapped into at the G during a strong breeze. He was a bit of a beanpole, wasn't he? He's one of the players that when I had AFL Live 2004, 2003, I used to play with him all the time because he was the tallest guy on the team and I just chucked him in the ruck over Drew Petrie. So you heard it here first. Matthew Burton is greater than Drew Petrie. Thank you for your comments, guys. Thank you for all of that. Just another quick one. Go the Roos. Fortunately, I can't make it down to the game, but Bay 29 tickets are available through the North Melbourne Closer to a Flag Facebook page. The code's Makepeace, so go on there through the link in their posts and get your Bay 29 tickets. Me and those guys will be down in Tassie as well the week after for the Port Adelaide game, so that'll be exciting. Lots of booing will be going on. I don't care what Kane Corn says. David King, get down there and boo as well, mate. Thank you for listening once again, guys. Sweet dreams. North Premiership's coming. Don't worry, 2028. I'm calling it. You heard it here first.